This is a very long poem, so I'm going to move very, very quickly through this introduction. I want to say that the poem is Cotter Saturday Night, and it was inscribed to one Robert Aiken, who was a lawyer and benefactor of Burns' poems. This is a gorgeous pastoral piece. It paints a wonderfully rustic scene. And so, to do something different, I'm putting down the usual book of Robert Burns' poems that I normally read from, and I'm going to pick up this book, which contains only one poem, the one that we're going to read. It is beautifully illustrated, and so hopefully as I read, I will be able to share some of those illustrations with you. Now, the first part of this poem is addressed to Robert Aiken, and it goes on to describe the scene befalls the Cotter on this Saturday night. My loved, my honoured, much respected friend, no mercenary bard his homage pays. With honest pride I scorn each selfish end. My dearest meed, a friend's esteem and praise. To you I sing in simple Scottish lays, the lowly train in life's sequestered scene. The native feelings strong, the guileless ways, what Aiken in a cottage would have been. Ah, though his worth unknown, for happier there I ween. November chill blaws loud with angry soul. The shortening winter day is near a close. The miry beasts retreating frae the pleugh, the blackening trains a craws to their repose. The toil-worn Cotter frae his labour goes. This night his weekly moil is at an end. Collects his spades, his mattocks, and his hoes, hoping the morn in ease to rest and to spend. And weary o'er the moor, his course does hameward bend. At length, his lonely cot appears in view, beneath the shelter of an aged tree. The expectant wee things tottle in, stratcher through, to meet their dad, with flittering noise and glee. His wee betingle, blinking bonnily, his clean hearth stane, his thrifty wifey's smile, the lisping infants prattling on his knee, does all his weary carking cares beguile, and makes him quite forget his labour and his toil. And here's an illustration. Alive the elder bairns come drapping in, at service out amang the farmers round. Some caw the pleugh, some herd, some tenty rin a canny errand to a neighbour town. Their eldest hope, their Jenny, woman grown in youthful bloom, love sparkling in her ee, comes hame, perhaps, to show a braw new gown, or deposit her sair-won penny fee, to help her parents dear if they in hardship be. We unfeigned joy, brothers and sisters meet, and each for others' welfare kindly speers. The social hour, swift-winged, unnoticed fleet, each tells the uncles that he sees or hears. The parents, partial, eyes their hopeful years, anticipation forward points the view. The mother with her needles and her shears, gars old clays look amest as wheels the new. The father mixes with awe, wi' admiration do. Their masters and their mistresses command, the euchres are warned to obey, and mind their labours wi' ardent hand, and ne'er, though out of sight, to jock or play. And oh, be sure to fear the Lord alway, and mind your duty duly morn and night, implore his counsel and assisting might. They never sought in vain that sought the Lord aright. But hark, a rap comes gently to the door. Jenny, what kens the meaning of the same, tells how a neighbour lad came o'er the moor to do some errands, and convey her hame. The wily mother sees the conscious flame sparkle in Jenny's ee, and flush her cheek. with heart-struck anxious care, inquires his name, while Jenny, halflins, he's afraid to speak. We'll please the mother hears, it's nae wild worthless reek. With kindly welcome, Jenny brings him ben. A strapping youth, he takes the mother's ee. Blithe Jenny sees the visit's no ill ta'en. The father cracks a horse's pleugh and kye, the youngster's artless heart o'erflow with joy. But blate and laithful scarce can weel behave. The mother, wi' a woman's wiles can spy what makes the youth sae bashful and sae grave. We're pleased to think her bairn's respected like the lave. And here's another illustration. O happy love, where love like this is found, O heartfelt raptures, bliss beyond compare. I've paced much this weary mortal round, and sage experience bids me this declare. If heaven a draught of heavenly pleasure spare, one cordial in this melancholy vale, 'tis when a youthful, loving, modest pair in others' arms breathe out the tender tale, beneath the milk-white thorn that scents the evening gale. And another beautiful illustration. Is there a human form that bears a heart, a wretch, a villain lost to love and truth, that can with studied, sly, and snaring art betray sweet Jenny's unsuspecting youth? Curse on his perjured arts, dissembled smooth, our honour, virtue, conscience all exiled? Is there no pity, no relenting ruth, points to the parents fondling over their child, then paints the ruin made and their distraction wild? But now supper crowns their simple board, the healsome parrot, chief of Scotia's food, the soup their only hockey does afford, that yont the hallen snugly chows are cool. The dame brings forth in complimental mood, to grace the lad, her weel-hained kebbuck fell. And aft he's pressed, and aft he ca's it guid, the frugal wafie, guileless, will tell, how 'twas a towman old, sin lint was with a bell. The cheerful supper dome with serious face, they round the ingle form a circle wide. The sire turns o'er with patriarchal grace the big haw Bible, and's his father's pride. His bonnet reverently is laid aside, his lyart haffet swearing thin and bare. Those strains that once did sweet in Zion glide, he wails a portion with judicious care. And let us worship God, he says, with solemn air. And there's another illustration. They chant their artless notes in simple guise, they tune their hearts by far the noblest aim. Perhaps Dundee's wild warbling measures rise, of plaintive martyrs, worthy of the name, or noble Elgin beats the heavenward flame, the sweetest far of Scotia's holy lays. Compared with these, Italian trills are tame, that tickled ears no heartfelt rapture raise, nay, unison hey they with our Creator's praise. The priest-like father reads the sacred page, how Abram was the friend of God on high, or Moses bade eternal warfare wage wi' Amalek's ungracious progeny, or how the royal bard did groaning lie beneath the stroke of heaven's avenging ire, or Job's pathetic plaint and wailing cry, or rapt Isaiah's wild sephiric flame, or other holy seers that tune the sacred lyre. Here's another poem and another illustration. Beautifully done, woodcuts. Perhaps the Christian volume is the theme, how guiltless blood for guilty man was shed, how he who bore in heaven the second name had not on earth whereon to lay his head. How his first followers and servants sped, the percept sage they wrote to many a land. How he, who lone in Patmos banished, saw in the sun a mighty angel stand, and heard great Babylon's doom pronounced by heaven's command. Then kneeling down to heaven's eternal King, the saint, the father, and the husband praise. Hope springs exulting on triumphant wing, that thus they all shall meet in future days, there ever bask in uncreated rays, no more to sigh or shed the bitter tear, together hymning their Creator's praise, in such society, yet still more dear, while circling time moves round the eternal sphere. There's another illustration here. Compared with this, how poor religion's pride in all the pomp of method and of art, when men display to congregations wide devotions every grace except the heart. The power and sense the pageant will desert, the pompous strain, the sacerdotal stole, but haply in some cottage far apart may hear, well pleased, the language of the soul. And in his book of life the inmates poor enroll. Then homeward all take off their several way. The youngling cottagers retire to rest, the parent pair their secret homage pay, and proffer up to heaven the warm request, that he who stills the raven clamorous nest, and decks the lily fair in flowery pride, would, in the way his wisdom sees the best, for them and all their little ones provide, but chiefly in their hearts with grace divine preside. Here's some more illustrations. From scenes like these old Scotia's grandeur springs, that makes her lov'd at home, revered abroad. Princes and lords are but the breath of kings, in honest man's the noblest work of God. And certes in fair virtue's heavenly road, the cottage leaves the palace far behind. What is a lordling's pomp, a cumbersome load, disguising oft the wretch of humankind, studied in the arts of hell and wickedness refined. O thou, who pour the patriotic tide that streamed through Wallace's undaunted heart, who dared to nobly stem tyrannic pride, or nobly die the second glorious part, the patriot's god peculiarly thou art, his friend, inspirer, guardian, and reward. O never, never Scotia's realm desert, but still the patriot and the patriot bard in bright succession raise her ornament and her guard. O Scotia, my dear, my native soil, for whom my warmest wish to heaven is sent, long may thy hardy sons of rustic toil be blessed with health and peace and sweet content. And oh, may heaven their simple lives prevent from luxury's contagion, weak and vile. Then, however crowns the coronets be rent, a virtuous populace may rise the while, and stand a wall of fire round their much-loved isle. Here are the last few illustrations. And that was the Cotter's Saturday Night.